It is always interesting to discuss about the price of XRP, especially what we think about future. Here, this actually kind of points out like, okay, they think that the price of XRP is going to be in between 1.47 to 1.76 at the max, right? For 2025, which I think is like, they don't understand something. But the next one here is like, okay, by 2030, they think the first guy is like 4.98 and the Nasdaq team is like 18.39. So that is for 2030. And what they are talking about is this asset, which if we as a normal common human being go into the market, we see there is a possibility that it can be this pattern or it can be this pattern. Now we know the market shows you things before that happens. It's on you and me to understand the probability of which is going to be true. Now, if this is the scenario, what is going to be our target? I can say one thing. It's higher than what these guys are highlighting. If it's this one, it's going way higher than that. What is it going to be? Welcome to the Scientific Investor family, where the normal retail guys learn how to become the next top 10% of this world. While we discuss the price of XRP in the future, we also have to understand what is happening right now. This kind of gives you the idea how things are evolving as we go back in time. We kind of get to see like, okay, things are really looking good as this is using XRP, the on-demand liquidity route. And the way we actually see this is like, okay, there is a lot of speculation happening. There is a lot in reality, which is expansion. On-demand liquidity moving into Europe. It's last year. So while we look through this in time, look at all this, we do understand the possibility that the price action may not look really interesting, but the adoption is growing. And here, 18th March, the thought process is it is struggling to rally. And the price at that time is 0.37. Where are we right now? About 0.5. Yes, we are looking to correct back down along with the market. Bitcoin is struggling to hold on to 28. It's flirting with that level, right? Now, we'll actually have to discuss why this is so important, right? Because we do understand the fact that the market shows you a three-wave structure, whether it's Bitcoin's historical price data or the recent one. Now you're trying to do the wave 3 in Bitcoin. So if it's the normal Elliott wave, it's like 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. And you get that all the time. So if that is true, then when we come back into XRP, the recent price history is also valid. You consolidate, you break above the previous high and the moving average, you go back consolidating above that, or retesting and then bouncing. So we are looking for something like, okay, if that's the case, Bitcoin is dropping, we may come back to this level, retest and bounce towards a new high. So what are we expecting for this entire rally? If this is the pattern we are discussing, which, if you are on a monthly, there is a lot of possibility that you and me are right now watching the price forming a rounded bottom, after which it is showing you a possible handle, which kind of equates to a cup and handle pattern, which we broke to the upside. So that's bullish. And if that's the case, you're actually pointing towards $27 for that pattern. Now, this can be in wave 2, this can be in wave 3, because this is a pattern analysis. It's not wave structure, right? We talked about how wave forms. We looked at wave structures in different assets. So we know that's going to come. But if the price is not showing that pattern, it's kind of having a higher odds in this particular pattern. What does that mean? If you are looking for the conservative target, that is going to be a 16x after the break, which kind of pushes you towards $18. That is way higher than what these guys thought for the short term. But yes, we have to agree that we're highlighting the point that it can reach there by 2030. So the Nasdaq team is kind of looking at $18 by 2030. Now, one thing which we all understand is like, okay, whenever this starts to run up, we don't get that long of a price action. We kind of go burst through. So you're not literally looking for 5 years of move. And what's the next target, right? This is the conservative one. What if we plot this one? It literally pushes the price all the way back up to $60. Now, it can be in wave 2 again. It can be in wave 3. We don't know where we are going to go. But a key idea which you can easily get from this is like, okay, $18, $20 somewhere close can be the wave 2 target. It still is a possibility in the market as the market shows you this. Now, yes, it is interesting fact that when you look at an asset like this, which is a competitor in a similar space, almost similar space. One is kind of retail oriented, one is wholesale oriented. I agree, but look at the pattern formation here. While we look for XRP, you get to see that, okay, we failed this time to reach the actual top, the last all-time highs, right? The price didn't reach there, SEC came and did that hammer thing. But what we are observing for XLM is that it actually reached that range. Wow, that's actually something cool to look at. And one of the main things for that, the key should be that they burned their supply, right? Around 50%, they actually burned their supply. And in common with XRP, XLM is also showing us the narrative or the possibility that it is also forming a cup and handle pattern. That is huge. So if you are on that aisle saying, okay, this is the wick, you are saying, okay, it's going to go do a 18x, which again would actually pull you all the way from here and you reach somewhere close to $10, $12 range, which is actually massive because considering current price and what the ROI structure can be, this really looks interesting, right? Yes, there is the supply-demand equation playing out, but we don't actually see huge narrative playing out. But then I go crazy like, okay, we understand the fact that this guy, the founder of this project, was in Ripple, was in Mt. Gox. He was not screwed on both cases. And it happens to be like, okay, his project is being used in Ukraine for the central bank digital currency. So I'm like, that doesn't actually sound really good. Like it kind of pops something like, there is something interesting in this project, which may actually push the price higher. We really don't know how these things are happening, but what we know is it's happening, right? Ukraine doesn't look a lot good in terms of how it's dealing with the world and US and the information in the market right now. And then when we see their CBDCs on XLM and then look at what happened with the SEC lawsuit for XRP, they are not hammering this particular guy for selling XRP into the open market, whereas they're going after Chris and Brad. So it doesn't really make much sense. And then you go look at the Mt. Gox scenario and you're like, okay, this guy was not hammered like the other guy. I'm like, ooh, what am I missing here, right? So that's the point which actually took me here, showing you guys what XLM can do. Because yeah, it's true that we are the fans of XRP. We understand the fact that this is one of the best asset created for payments use case on the wholesale level and for micropayments as well. But this is something the market is showing us. We can be wrong on our analysis, but what the market is showing us is something we should keep a point on. Because if you have a diary, you're taking the notes, this is going to be helpful for you. Whether it's this target or this target, which is like, anyway close to $18, $20, that can be the possibility in wave 2 for XRP. Because when you actually jump on and say like, okay, we just saw the pattern analysis on this. What if we are looking for the price action? Because we really need to look at different assets. Say, for example, you go look at the Bitcoin chart, the old Bitcoin movements. And what we really want to look at is like how the movement flattened. That is something interesting to keep our minds on. Because when we actually take the bar patterns from here and take the first run up and correction and take it to the next one, this kind of matches with the next one. Just the difference here is, this is not a small difference, We all need to understand the fact that the first run up actually did around 270 days, whereas the next one was 700 days. So that's not something small. Then you take the next one, which was like that 700 days, and you take it to the bottom. Okay, that wouldn't be the correct approach. What we can do is to take it from the bottom to the next bottom. Okay, fine. Now we take that, put it here on the next bottom, and we see a huge difference in price action. So if we followed the history, we should have been here, but we failed by 20,000. Great. But while we look at the number of days, we topped out when the last cycle bottomed. So that kind of gives us a clear picture that each cycle is taking more time to reach that top. Here it's 1,065 days. Why is that happening? Because institutions are entering this market and they play the game differently, right? Now you take this market cycle, you go all the way to the bottom and you take that and extend that here. What are we looking at? We are looking for like 367,000, and what do I think? Are we going to go there? I really don't think so. Maybe 90,000, maybe 100,000, close to that range. Maybe 90 to 120 is still a possibility if we bounce off breaking through the level, right? So that kind of gives us a clear picture like, okay, each time the market is going higher, we are taking more and more time. From the bottom, it has already been a long time. We've been like, one of the things which a lot of people do not focus on while they get lost with that 4-year market cycle stuff is that they really don't look for the time. Right now, it's been 1,582 days from the bottom. Now, for me, this is the actual bottom because I think wave structure is clearly playing out with the wave 1, wave 2 structure and now going for the wave 3. And if that's the case, now take this equation into XRP. Last time when Bitcoin actually did the rally, it took like around 853 days to reach the top. And for that of XRP during that time, this is key. XRP did take some time to reach that top of 300 days. That was not bad. So when Bitcoin took 800 days, XRP took 300 days. So if Bitcoin is about to take 1,700 days, expect that XRP is also going to take some time like that. So one, like, okay, it can take literally 800 days. This is our bottom. Then we are like, okay, how long have been we've been in the market? And it's like, okay, that's already 1,200 days, close to that. Now we are going nuts. Like, okay, if Bitcoin is around 1,500 days and it's going for wave 3 and XRP has not yet done the wave 2, the next rally should be close enough. But what do we really know, right? The market is being screwed in terms of time and volume with the new SEC case. But what we really would like to see is a change in the market sentiment, which we just saw with the recent rally, which is something interesting with the increase in the volume. But right now, we need to see a break of this level. If we correct back down, for us, this is going to be the key range, which we would like to see the price come down, test that range, and bounce back up. If in next 24 hours, when the weekly closes, we still close like this, which is an inverted hammer, which is a hammer pattern at the top, which can be called like a hanging man, that usually does not show you a bullish structure. So unless we get another candle breaking through the highs of this particular day, that is going to be weird. We may come back down, we'll test the 0.41, 0.42 range and bounce off. So the chart which suggested in the 3-day that we may come here and then go back down is still valid. The weekly which shows us the possible correction is still valid. And on the daily, we kind of see like, okay, we got an engulfing candle which kind of erased last 4 days in terms of the daily close. So we are like, okay, the higher time frame structure is showing you the possibility that it is going for a correction. But the short term is showing you, no, I haven't done the move yet. So what is it going to be, right? I would always stand with the higher time frame structure unless that gets nullified. To nullify that, the price has to move above 0.545. So most likely 0.55 is going to be a key region. But in short-term structure, you may actually see the price slowly pumping to the upside, reaching these levels to test and then breaking back down to follow the macro trend. So yes, we understood like, okay, the macro does look good, but the short-term market volatility should not actually blind you from what is happening in reality. Fundamentals of an asset is so strong, and that is one of the reasons why, imagine, even if it's for 2030, when these guys actually put $18 for an asset which is right now priced at 0.5, that is super huge. They believe in the project. That's the basic sense. So once you have the idea that the market is doing such things, and we know that it's not the only asset in the market and there is a lot of the others showing, we may try to break higher. But right now it's that long weekend. We are all in that spiritual religious move, and not a lot of people are trading or investing. We see the volume is down. XRP is like 600 million. At the recent peak, it was like 3 billion, and right now 600 million. So that's a massive drop in the volume. The financial institutions are off, and that's why this is happening for on-demand liquidity. So guys, if you received value, please do hit that like and subscribe button if you haven't done that already. And if you are looking for updates on a regular basis for assets, the markets, the opportunities out there in this market, then you can look at the Patreon. The link is given in the description below. I'll meet you guys on the next video. Bye for now.